Hi guys, and welcome back to the Heroes of the Storm Road to BlizzCon North American July qualifier. I am Gillyweed, and joining me to my, is this my something, is Anna. Hi Anna.
Hello. I'm doing my hello dance for you. I'm so stoked. We had great games with Zevran the last couple series, and now we will jump to our good friends Tuark, and they will be up against Serious Hats only.
Serious Hats only apply. If you are not serious, then, well, if you're not a serious hat, then you have no business here.
Nope.
But I did want to point out that while we did miss the last game, I'm a little sad about that, because it is game 2 in this round, and apparently the composition from Serious Hats only was 4 specialists and a Sonya.
What? I am sad we missed that as well. In some ways. In others I am not, because I think it would have hurt my soul a little tiny bit.
Yeah, I think that was all about just taking down as many structures as they possibly could, but Tuark did take the game. So we'll see what kind of shenanigans Serious Hats only can get into this time. But I don't know, it doesn't really sound like a serious hat composition.
It doesn't. It sounds like a very silly hat composition. But they already have started their bans and pick Skilly if we want to head over there.
All right, well, we are there, and it looks like so far Tuark is going to choose to ban Jaina, so not so scared of I'm already getting scared seeing what I think I'm seeing. Okay, anyways, I'm not so scared of the specialists, but Serious Hats only are going to ban Uther and pick up Malfurion, and I feel like they're going after cleanses here. All right, so they're going to get Sylvanas, so Rhaegar's still on the table, and I think Tuark might choose to pick that up right here.
Yeah, I guess they've probably seen the wildness that could be Serious Hats, and they know not to take anything for granted at this point. They're going to add Kael'thas to that Zeratul. That's a lot of damage already on the side of Tuark.
Yes, and they will have the Rhaegar as well, so thank you for heeding my advice, Tuark. I don't think you will be sad about that, as you're definitely going to want a good healer for that Zeratul, who will be jumping into the fight, into the back line of Serious Hats only. Meanwhile, we do have our next bans ready, and it seems like Serious Hats do not want to deal with Johanna, so no Crusader today.
So sad, but reasonable. I think that Johanna has proven to be a game changer in a lot of places, so the fact that Serious Hats doesn't want Tuark to pick them up, and the fact that Tuark does still have a desire for a warrior, that makes a lot of sense to me. Tuark, though, I wonder what they will do. It might not be a bad idea to ban out some damage they don't want, because they've already banned Jaina, they have Zeratul and Kael'thas. If they were to ban out another damage dealer, it really lessens the pool that Serious Hats could pick from.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They also, if they're not wanting to deal with like a Zagara Sylvanas, a super strong siege that could be coming out, that might be another possibility, and of course limiting the vision that they would have as well. There's a lot of options here, as they're not really sure what Serious Hats only are going for depending on what they've picked so far. It looks like they will choose to ban Illidan, so they kind of want to make sure that they are the ones who are leading the charge when it comes to the melee assassins.
Ah!
Oh my gosh. Well, we still have multiple specialists, I guess. With the Sonya, we've just modified it slightly so that we actually have a support as well.
How interesting, Gillyweed. This is the thing. I just have this weird relationship with Sonya where it's like, we met one time, she gave me a really bad first impression. It's not that I really have anything against her, it's just like she and I didn't really connect and I'd rather not hang out with her. So this is going to be a good learning experience for me. I'm going to have to learn the value of Sonya, and Serious Hats is going to have to show it to me.
Did she just constantly spin in a circle and not really
she was like,
ever...
She's like, I'm a really good singer, ha! And I'm like,
Aww.
Yeah. It's like, okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, Tuark is just walking away with the exact composition they want. Somehow they've secured Rhaegar, Abathur, Zeratul, and have a Kael'thas behind it. All they have to do is pick up a warrior here, and they've got like the world's favorite melee assassin composition here. But Serious Hats only, they do, I could see the Sonya Azmodan in terms of helping to clear out the minions to get Azmodan stacks for his taste for blood talent, which is what we see at level 1 for his Globe of Annihilation. Every time you throw the globe out, you, okay, or that. You throw the globe out, and if you kill a minion with it, then it gets you a stack, which increases the damage of that globe of annihilation. So the idea is, in the beginning, you need your teammates' help to kind of soften up those minions so that you can throw out the globe and be able to take them down with it. So I could see Whirlwind being really effective in that from Sonya.
That makes a lot of sense. And in the meantime, Tuark has been like, ha, Gilly, you know us. We don't need no warrior. We don't need no stinking warrior.
How could I
grab
forget?
Falstad. Yeah.
How could I forget? My mistake, Tuark.
Maybe you need to put on your serious hat, Gilly, because that hat
I
you were
do.
wearing looks really silly.
Yeah, well, I guess I kind of like this hat, but I guess I could change it. All right, so we are going to have the no warrior composition that we so often see from Tuark here. The warrior will be Zeratul, who will have an Abathur hat, lots of heals from Rhaegar, and meanwhile, from the back, Kael'thas and Falstad will be throwing a ton of damage, but the Butcher could throw a serious wrench into those plans, as he can definitely get into that back line with that Ruthless Onslaught and then start taking out some of those very squishy damage dealers.
We do see the Butcher added to serious hats only, so certainly a lot of really scary damage that can come out of the Butcher. And he can... I'm looking for the synergy here and trying to think about the same kind of things with the Butcher. He is going to be gathering fresh meat, but that's something he can do on his own. He doesn't necessarily need a whole lot of help doing it. But I can see him being part of a really cool gank squad if they wanted to use Sylvanas for a split push on this map. She really does have, as we like to call it, her mini curse that can keep structures from firing on her. So if everyone is busy trying to grab a tribute or engage somewhere else on the map, she can kind of quietly slip away and do a lot of damage to a lane all by herself without suffering too much for it.
Yeah, see, trying to figure out the synergy for Serious Hats Only is definitely what I'm doing. As it's pretty interesting, they've got like a lot of push potential from Asmodean and Sylvanas. Asmodean, in addition to having that Globe of Annihilation, which can really wreck a backline, can also use his bound minion, and it's global. So he can always throw a little bit stronger of a minion into a lane that maybe Tuark's not paying attention to. But Tuark kind of have the same thing with Abathur, and that they can have those locusts kind of quietly pushing a lane and slowly taking down structures. Additionally, Serious Hats Only, with picking up an Asmodean and going for that Taste for Blood, is kind of making themselves into more of a mid to late game composition. And Tuark, their no warrior compositions typically just deal so much damage in the early and mid game that it's kind of hard to ever really come back from it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So Tuark, the name of the game for Tuark is going to be get a lead early and don't allow Serious Hats ever to kind of gain purchase on the climb that they're looking for. And I think that that's a real danger for Serious Hats. So they're going to have to think about what can we use in this composition to make sure that we have an early presence that builds an experience lead. And who do you think is going to do that for them?
For Serious Hats Only?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that what they're going to be needing to do is just wherever Tuark's not, try to move in with somebody and take out structures. So Sonya's actually kind of good at that, which is kind of surprising. And then we know Sylvanas is good at that too, and with the All Shall Burn ability for Asmodean, he gets pretty effective of that too. So I think we're going to see they're going to spot wherever Tuark are, and then wherever they're not, they're going to quickly try to move in and maybe take out some towers, try to get ahead in experience, or at least keep up that way.
We have a nice little worm dance going on from Trader there in the base of Tuark. For Tuark, we have Furious D playing Kael'thas, Suki on Falstad, Chub Z on Rhaegar, Panucci playing Zeratul, and Trader on Abathur.
And in the red, they're down one game in this best of three. We have Serious Hats Only with Savage playing Sonya up in the top. A lot of damage from Undead Turbear playing Sylvanas, Johum on that Butcher, Cradro on Malfurion, and Armpit Hero on Asmodean.
All right, so the answer to our question of how they plan to get an early experience lead is they're going to send all four of these team members up to try to take down a structure right away early on in the game. Unfortunately, it backfired a little bit as they did have 2 takedowns, so the experience lead is still in favor of Tuark. It's a good idea, though.
Yeah, and the nice thing, too, is with that Falstad, they saw or Suki saw that his teammates were in trouble and instantly was able to fly up. That's the beauty of having a false start on your team, is you can constantly make sort of these really, that was kind of cool to see. You can make these really great situations where all of a sudden you have more heroes than they do, or maybe they try to engage because they think they have more, and then all of a sudden Falstad's there and you've created an equal fighting amount. But now Suki and Panucci are on the chase. They're going to take out Malfurion. I loved when Suki barrel rolled into the terrain just a little bit, this U, and it stopped the Ruthless Onslaught from the Butcher, and it kind of stalled it out almost. It didn't really go away. It's just like it kept going for forever until he finally just couldn't get in there, and that way he was able to save himself. Really cool.
Yeah, protecting yourself from a melee assassin and shooting from behind walls is the privilege of a ranged assassin, of course. In the meantime, a lot of takedowns have been happening that we haven't even caught because they've been happening so fast. 5 takedowns already at about the 2-minute mark from 2Art Gaming on Serious Hats only. A lot of that is due to heroes trying to now go into lanes and lane by themselves. We had the Butcher just too slow to get away. Now we have Malfurion also slowed and being focused down. The Butcher is in this position now where he's 1 versus 2. He does have the ability to kind of hit people instead of running away, but he does not run away quickly. So he was trying to exploit that on Panucci, steal health from him before he had to escape, but ultimately could not quite take him down and did escape behind the wall.
Well, Suki was trying to fly down and catch Savage, but wasn't quite able to do so. While we might maybe have a little bit of a break before this tribute, I wanted to shout out some of the interesting builds that Serious Hats only do have. Savage may go down here, it just is the topic of that lightning rod, but will not. We actually don't have Taste for Blood for Azmodan. He's got Sieging Wrath, increasing the impact damage dealt by 50%, depending on how far the missile traveled. So he's really trying to sit in the back line, just throw out that Global Annihilation as fast as possible. They also have Barbed Shot for Sylvanas, and then they even have Warpaint and Superiority, which is something we hardly ever see, reducing damage taken from minion structures and mercenaries by 50%. So it's obvious that Serious Hats only are completely serious about pushing only. That's all they care about, trying to just siege and siege and siege. And that's going to be difficult the further that they get. And it's going to be the idea for 2Arc to just kind of delay that until it gets to a point where they can really start to push ahead, really start taking down some of the structures of Serious Hats. And then every time Serious Hats try to push, they're going to be so far back in their lanes that they won't really be able to capitalize on that.
I wonder why, if Serious Hats was so committed to the push composition, that they didn't choose some of the heroes that are more typically known for push ability, like maybe Zagara.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have been that they had Zagara last time and it didn't really work out, but these builds are like completely not what we generally see, so I'm not really sure there. Maybe they just feel more comfortable with the Asbrodan.
Undead TR Bear actually almost going down, but managing to use those Banshees to get out of the way. Will leave Azmodan up here in the top lane to fend for himself, but he's being able to do that quite well. In the mid, meantime, we have some soakage going on. Chubsy, actually being fairly aggressive for a healer, is going to get rooted, but he's going to be able to heal himself and transition into that ghost form quickly enough that he'll be able to escape.
Both tributes so far have gone toward 2Arc, who also have a little bit of a level lead as well. And they noticed that they did pick up the mule from Abathur, so that's not always something that he grabs there, but realizing the siege power from their opponents, they're really going to try to slow that down by having that. So they were able to take out Falstad, and now we've got an uncontested push happening here in the bottom. So Malfurion is going to be taken out by Zeratul, and the tribute will spawn right next to it. But meanwhile, 2Arc might find themselves needing to come deal with this push because uncontested, Savage and Undead Turbear are going to start doing a lot of damage to this fort.
The pull from Savage was very instrumental there in taking down Falstad, who thought he was safe behind the wall. And I guess if you're planning on just sitting at walls and pushing, Sonya could be a real help there. I'm looking for the ways that Sonya and I can become friends. That pull was really instrumental that time.
Yeah, now Falstad has flown back in and has the Abathur hat, which is dealing significant damage to Undead Turbear. He's throwing out the hammer, he's really trying to catch her and will not be able to quite do so, and now may have to contend with Savage instead. He's going to pull back. His team has grabbed the tribute as well, and their heroic abilities. Hinterland Blast drops down and takes out Sylvanas. Now Suki accidentally going maybe a little bit too far forward, but it's not really an issue because, why? Their opponents are cursed, so none of these structures are actually attacking. Feeling very safe, was able to secure that Sonya takedown as well as the Sylvanas.
Yeah, and they're going to go ahead and leave the minions to do the dirty work on the tower and wall. They're going to break in by the side and try to take down this fort, which they should be able to do. In the meantime, the rest of Serious Hats Only is running that direction, but they're still very far away.
Looking at Malfurion's build, he also picked up the Mule. So we are seeing why maybe they decided to favor Malfurion instead of like the Uther Rhaegar. I know that the drafts seem to kind of go that way. It's because out of the three of them, Malfurion's the only one who actually gets that Mule. So they are also trying to keep their structures alive. But 2Ark, realizing that, did a really good job of pushing in toward both of those forts, making sure to take them out completely so that they couldn't just be healed right back up.
This boss is going to go the way of 2Ark. We do have Chubzy over here along with Suki. They're going to grab that. That means there's going to be a good push in the bottom lane, which is going to complement the work that they just did taking down that fort.
Looking at the heroic abilities we have so far on the side of 2Ark, we have the Phoenix, Hinterland Blast, Ancestral Heal, Void Prison, and Ultimate Evolution for Abathur. And the Serious Hats Only, they've picked up Wrath of the Berserker, Lamb to the Slaughter, Wailing Arrow, Demonic Invasion, and Tranquility for Malfurion.
We don't see Demonic Invasion quite often, Gilly.
No, we really do not. And we may see it as he is trying to push up top. Looks like he's going to move back instead, try to help his teammates take out that boss. But meanwhile, we've got 2Ark taking out the boss on top as well. So really just keeping control of this game, keeping control of the lanes too, not letting any lane get too far pushed for Serious Hats Only so that they can't really take advantage of it.
The advantage of what... Oh, go ahead.
The Void Prison stops the Ruthless Onslaught, and now Panucci is going to keep going, but it looks like the Ruthless Onslaught will get canceled out. So Panucci using the Void Prison very defensively there and does stay safe.
We do have a boss now pushing here in the top lane. Suki is going to follow that up. Savage and Undead Turbear are going to try to fend that off. Their attention is going to be captured there, and it's interesting that 2Ark, instead of using that to split push, is instead going to push alongside this boss, it looks like.
There the Demonic Invasion goes down, so a lot of damage being dealt to this boss, and it will get taken out very quickly with a Mule down to try to mitigate any more damage. Trader is now inside in a great silence. Oh, sorry, that is actually not the real Zeratul. It was the Ultimate Evolution, but Johum was trying to go after the real one. However, Panucci is going to be able to stay nice and healthy. We may see 2Ark disengage here. They don't have the Ultimate Evolution anymore, and a great Entangling Roots may grab Fury Steed. No, a perfect Ancestral Heal will save the day. And with the Hinterland Blast, Malfurion is the one who gets taken out.
That Hinterland Blast from Suki, we've seen a couple times just be so well placed. You have to be predictive. You have to think, when am I going to see this enemy team line up? Because there's a delay between when you throw that down and when it actually hits. You have to really see where that team is moving and have great ability to predict it. And so far we've seen that incredibly from Suki.
Yeah, you kind of have to use it in places where they can't run away from it so easily, because it is one that can be kind of avoided. So on this battleground, I think is the best for that, because there are so many long corridors where you really don't have anywhere to run from that Hinterland Blast. So Suki's been doing an excellent job with that Falstad. Abathur, this whole time, by the way, has been completely out in lane, completely exposed in the bottom, since everyone from Serious Hats Only was on top, just allowing his little choo-choo trains to push along the rest of the minions and continue to keep that lane nice and pushed away from that fort, which is exposed.
It's so cute, the little pajamas are, he's just adorable. Yeah. Look at him sleeping. Anyways, we see that the map is painted quite blue. We do have the top mercenary camps on the side of Serious Hats Only that did go to 2Ark. 2Ark looking to grab lots of advantages that way. Panucci again in this engagement here, getting Ancestral healed back from the brink of doom. And instead it's going to be the Butcher that goes down. Now Crodral is looking to try to heal himself with that Tranquility. It doesn't really work. He's going to be taken down as well. That's going to leave all 4 heroes here from 2ARC to wail against this wall with no one but Asmodan on the map to deter them.
Double Zeratul is frightening in a composition, and having that ultimate evolution, whenever we see it pop up, it has been the Zeratul, and you see 2ARC be crazy aggressive once they have that, because they know that they can be, and that's really a testament to the play from 2ARC, that they are able to realize when a good time to engage is, when they do have that ultimate evolution up and they are tied in numbers. But they're also realizing that they have a great Hinterland Blast that's going to take out Sonya. So they still have a great level lead, which means they can still stay in the engagement even once the ultimate evolution goes down, which is exactly what we're seeing. They still were able to take out 2 more heroes once the ultimate evolution was down, and from that they're going to be able to take out this keep. They're going to keep staying aggressive.
2ARC has been using this great rotating front line to compensate for the fact that they don't have a warrior hero out there to absorb lots and lots of damage. They've made sure that their damage dealers, kind of when they get low, are able to move back behind the ones that are fresh, and they keep using those really solid heals from Rhaegar to make sure that even when they get low in a fight, they're still able to stay and do lots of damage.
Yeah, all those Hinterland Blasts, or the Ancestral Heals have been so on point. The Hinterland Blast too, though, really. I mean, everything has been super on point. Now, one more tribute is needed for 2ARC to get another curse. It really will only help them try to take out this final keep, as it's the only structure remaining, but they still would like to have it anyway, and they may just be able to get into a good engagement here as well, which would be great for them. If they win an engagement at this point, they could likely win the game. So they're going to be going after it. They can either get the curse and push with that, take out that final keep, or they can even use it as a time that their opponents have to defend and then go and pick up that boss, which is available on bottom.
That living bomb on Savage nearly took him down, and it will be finished off by Panucci while Furious D is busy grabbing the tribute. Furious D on point with those living bombs, zoned everyone away from the tribute and was able to take it pretty uncontested.
Yeah, now these lanes are completely pushed. 2ARC has the curse, which means that Serious Hats are kept completely on the defensive. They have to defend their base now. They have to defend their remaining keep. And so we're going to see 2ARC rotating around to that boss that is spawned on top. Both bosses are available. They may take this one, though, and just push in with it all the way to core without even worrying about that bottom one. The bottom lane getting really pushed from all of those choo-choo trains from Abathur, by the way.
The boss, it looks like, will go to 2ARC up here in the top of the map. They're going to have more pressure going on in the top lane. So far, Trader just hanging out there, preparing the way for the boss as it comes. But he is actually going to... Where did he go? Oh, was that the ultimate evolution?
Yeah.
It was! It got me again!
There's a Void Prison. We should maybe see the Hinterland Blast. It looks like no, as there it is right now. It does take out Sonya and Malfurion too. Undead Turbear, it also cannot get away from the hammering. The Phoenix goes down. They are working on getting the minions all the way up to the core and will be able to do so. 2ARC is going to take this game and the series.
That Phoenix was well placed. It did zone our Pit Hero out from being able to come in and do more damage closer to them. Unfortunately, he also wants to be farther from them to do more damage with his slam dunks there, but he doesn't have much time to utilize any of it. As like you said, 2ARC will take this series 2-0.
So what I really want to point out here is that it's competitive is kind of a whole different bear in terms of competition than something like Hero League or Team League, where sometimes you go up against a team who's not as organized. You go up against a lot of teams that are more disorganized, like in Hero League and Team League, and so you're like, well, we can really capitalize on these push-heavy compositions. But when you go up against a team who's really dealt with they've dealt with it all. In fact, they're sometimes the reason other people have to deal with it all, as 2ARC does have some pretty crazy compositions. Then it's not so easy to be able to continually just go after the structures time after time after time like we saw them trying to do.
Yeah, that is true, and I really think the Abathur play was key here. It's kind of easy to forget how much Abathur can help when you're looking at a composition of, oh, there's only 4 heroes here, we can engage on it, but then you forget that Abathur is also there in spirit and in help, and that was a huge determining factor, as well as just like I can't stress enough how impressed I was by some of those skill shots and some of the predictive abilities that were used by 2Ark. I think, like I said, Living Bomb, the Hinterland Blast was on point, and especially the Ancestral Heal. First of all, going off right when it was needed, and second of all, just not wasting any of it. It was only used when someone was on the brink of death, not when they might be in danger. And that shows great timing and great finesse.
Yeah, I mean, in order to really pull that off, if somebody is that low, they have to really know exactly when they need to get back in order to make sure that they can receive that ancestral heal. So these guys have been playing with each other a long time. A great job by them. They will be moving on to the next round of the bracket. Looking at the bracket so far, we're starting to see it develop even more. We mentioned that Cognitive and Zevron are facing off for a spot in the round of 8. Looks like Team Blaze did beat Team Toaster, and so they're kind of moving their way up this side of the bracket, as 2Ark is as well. We will be watching 2Ark continue their climb into the next round. They'll be facing either the winner, well, they'll be facing the winner of Pandemonium or Banana Cabana.
That'll be fun. Either one of those great teams. I'm looking forward to finding out who it will be. I will probably maybe do another giveaway sometime during this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be bringing you another great game as soon as we can, and in the meantime, you might win something.
Well, good luck to you guys in that. Good luck to you, Anna, in dealing with the spam in chat, the possible spam in chat from that, as you guys will definitely be wanting to get that giveaway. Will it be another Kerrigan, Anna? Can you tell us that?
Let's see. What do I want to give away? Let's stick with the Zerg theme, but let's give away a Zagara.
Ooh, great specialist. Going to provide your team a lot of vision with her, and you're going to do a ton of damage. You're going to be a 1v1 machine. Good luck to you guys with that. When we come back, guys, another round with 2Ark versus their next opponent. See you guys soon.